Old Umbrey calls to all of us. We have had a weekend full of spoilers from Steamforged Games and War Machine, and they are introducing the latest army for Khador, which is called Old Umbrey. Now, for those of you living under a rock, this was previewed at Adepticon, and we got to see a lot of amazing looking models, and we got to hear a little bit about their fluff. But now we get the real deal, the nitty gritty, the actual rules for said models. So we have seen the two primary Warbeasts for the faction, which are the Feral and the Primeval. And we have seen the caster, or one of the casters for the faction, which is Lissyra, which is super exciting. As a big fan of all things Circle Ouroboros and Circle adjacent, this faction has piqued my interest for absolute certainty. The caster is really top notch, and this is Captain Galina Lissyra, the Winter Fox. She was just spoiled today, but I want to talk about her and the remainder, the two Warbeast, sort of as a package deal. And I think to really understand where we're at, we're just going to talk about her to start, and then jump into the two Warbeasts, and we can kind of talk about what this faction is going to be. And again, this is all coming in before we have access to what the rack is, or any of that. We can kind of see. So Galina Lissyra, the Winter Fox, is a Speed 7, At 6, Mat 6, Rat 7, Def 16, Arm 14, Arc 6 Control 14 caster with Pathfinder and Breakthrough, 40 millimeter base. Dodge, Headshot, Prey, and Resourceful. So she gets to upkeep spells on models in her battle group without spending Focus or Fury. She has access to Prey, which is an amazing ability. She has Headshot, and she has Dodge. All great things. Weapon-wise, she has Vixen. Vixen is her range 14 rate of fire 2 gun that has Bait the Line. And what Bait the Line does is Warbeast in this model's battle group gain +2 speed when charging a model damaged by the weapon this turn. So she turns on her Warbeasts to be able to charge a target further away, provided she's hit it before. And then she has a blade called Renard, which is a range 2 pow 13. Again, both magical. Her feat is Go to Ground, while in Lissyra's control range, friendly faction models gain +2 defense and reposition 5. Go to Ground lasts for 1 round. Repo 5 is amazing. That is an extreme reposition. And +2 defense is nothing to snarl at all, especially once we talk about what the beasts have as base defense. And then finally, she's going to be a rack 2. We don't know what the rack is yet, but her personal spells are Pincushion, Refuge, and Shadow Pack. For those of you unaware, Pincushion is an amazing spell, which is a 10-inch upkeep that says friendly faction models gain an additional die on ranged attack and ranged damage rolls against target model unit. You discard the lowest die in each roll. Just a phenomenal spell for punching holes in an opponent. Refuge, another great spell. At the end of the activation, which a target friendly faction model hit an enemy model with an attack, the affected model can make a full advance. So this is even better sprint, because I don't care if I kill something, I just care that I've hit something. And then I can run away from it at full speed. can advance away from it at full speed and get to my relative safety. And then Shadow Pack is stealth for her entire battle group, which would include herself. So just a fantastic caster all around. I think you'd take her in almost every faction if she were available. In this one, even more so. So let's talk about the first Warbeast that was spoiled, or the one that I want to talk about first, which is the Primeval. The Primeval is the quintessential heavy of Old Umbrey. It is a field allowance 4. It's got 30 boxes. It has access to Trample, Slam, Base Pathfinder, Dual Attack, and Headbutt. 50 millimeter. Base Speed 6. Base At 6. Mat 7. Rat 6. 13, 18. 4 Fury. Thresh 10. Awesome Threshold. Awesome Fury. 13, 18. A very Circle of Ouroboros stat line in a lot of ways. While not being Circle. Let's see what you get out of the box. You get Body Snatcher, Trophy Hunter, and you have abilities based on the number of corpse tokens this model has on it. So for Body Snatcher, it's Trophy Hunter. This model can gain a corpse token when this model can gain corpse tokens when this model destroys a living or undead enemy with a melee attack. This model gains a corpse token. It can have up to 5 at any time, and it gains the following abilities based on the number of tokens that it has. If it has 1 or more tokens, when this model has at least 1 corpse on it, it can run or charge without being forced. 3 corpse tokens or more, this model gains Grievous Wounds. And 5 or more corpse tokens on it, when this model has at least 5 corpse tokens, this model gains +2 to damage rolls. And it is Sacred Warded, meaning it cannot be targeted by enemy spells, but can be affected by friendly spells. Just a phenomenal base chassis with some very cool abilities based on it doing its job, which is killing other models. So we have a couple of different heads, and the heads are all animal themed, which makes a ton of sense, especially once you see this model. We have a bear head, which is going to give us a bite and give us access to the Earth's Blessing Animus. We have a raven head, which gives us True Sight base and access to Spirit Blade as an Animus. We also have access to the Stag. It has Granted Serenity. It gives you a Gore attack, and then it gives you access to Animi Undergrowth. So a lot of really interesting Animi on the heads there, with the access to Undergrowth, the access to Spirit Blade, and the access to Earth's Blessing. So you can kind of pick your favorite there. Most of them are pointed identically. The only one that is a bit more is for Stag, but again, Serenity is a amazing bit of kit because it allows you to better control your Fury across the board, and Undergrowth is a very good hit fixer as well. So let's talk about right arms. Right arms, we have access to the Ancient Staff. Ancient Staff grants Geomancy. For those of you that were not around for the first time this was in the game, and it still is. You don't see it much because there's not a lot of people actively playing Circle. But Geomancy lets this model, once per activation, long as it's in its controller's control range, it can be forced to cast a spell on its controller's card with a cost of 3 or less. And this model cannot cast upkeeps or spells with range of self or control. The Ancient Staff is a range 2 POW 13 magic weapon. Alternatively, we can get a Bone Sword. The Bone Sword is, again, range 2 POW 18. Crit Amputation. So those are two of the right arm options. Additional right arm option, we have the Thrown Spear. The Thrown Spear is a range 10, rate of fire 1. POW 15. It has Crit Smite and Forced Reload 1. And then it also has a melee component, which is range 2, POW 15, both magical. So a lot of access to magical attacks. Crit Smite, always a fan favorite. Forced Reload, excellent on a Fury 4 Warbeast, and the melee component as well. You've got on the left arms we have the Enchanted Claw, which is blessed, gives you access to throw, and is a POW 16 magical. Alternatively, you can have an Enchanted Shield on the left arm that gives you access to Curse, Shapeshifter. So this model can use Curse once per activation anytime. Choose an enemy model unit within 10 inches. Friendly Shapeshifter models gain +2 attack rolls against the chosen model unit. Curse lasts for 1 turn. The shield grants +2 armor and gives you a range 1 POW 12 magical. Last but not least, we have what I consider the most interesting bit on the left arm, which is the Rune Skull. The Rune Skull gives you Channeler. Gives you Invoke the Beast. So once per turn at any time during its activation, this model can cause a friendly marked model within 8 of it to be replaced with a Shapeshifter model that has not been put into play. The replaced model is removed from play. Repelling Gaze. Range 8, POW 12, magic with beatback. Immediately after a basic attack with this weapon is resolved, during this combat action, the enemy model hit can be pushed 1 inch directly away from the attacking model. The attacking model is pushed, and the attacking model can advance up to 1 inch directly toward it. You get access to being an Arc Node. You get access to empowering the Shapeshifter mechanic, which we don't know a ton about, but we do know is going to be very crucial this faction. And you get a magical attack that has a range of 8. Not it's a magical range attack that it's a range of 8, POW 12. Not the worst thing in the world for the same cost as the hand. The Primeval is an absolute house of a model. All of the options are very interesting. The different combinations you can make with this are extremely exciting. I see myself eyeing at least one of them with Spear and Skull. And then it's a trick of what the head is. I can also see utilizing that staff a fair bit, and then that bone sword is just such a dominant bit of kit that you want to do a lot with it. But where's our support animi? Where's all that? Well, let's talk about the Feral. Let's talk about the other heavy that has come out in this preview. So the Feral's Field Allowance 4. It's got 28 boxes. It's on a 50 mil. It has access to Slam and Headbutt, base Pathfinder, and is a dual attackist. Speed 6, Mat 6, Rat 5 base, Def 13, Arm 16, Fury 3, Threshold 6. So the threshold is very low. The Fury is very low here. But it's a very economical beast. You're going to be able to build one of these pretty cheap, and it's going to be pretty powerful. It has base access to Vault. So once per activation after making a full advance as its normal movement, but before performing its combat action, this model can be forced to be placed complete within 5 of its current location. It has 2 claws. Those claws are range 1 base, POW 11s, MAT 6. So that's what the base chassis does. How can you customize this bad boy? Well, let me tell you. So we have a hard point for its head. We have an Alki head. The Alki head is sort of the default head. It gives you Guard Dog. For those that are unaware, Guard Dog is while this model is within 3 of a leader and is not knocked down or stationary, its leader gains +2 defense against melee attack rolls and cannot become knocked down. It gives you a beak, which gives you a ranged 1 attack for POW 14. We can get a Drek head. The Drek head gives you a Deathly Scream, which is a spray 10, rate of fire 1, POW 12 pistol with stun. It gives you a bite attack as well, which is range 1, POW 12. Additionally, we have access to the Patron head, the Pertron head, which gives you Blood Quenched, which gives this model gains a cumulative +1 arm and +1 to its melee damage rolls for each enemy model it destroys with a melee attack during its activation. This bonus lasts for 1 round. That gives you access to Gore, which is a range 2 POW 14 head. And then on its Razorback head, it gives Granted Berserk, and that makes it a range 1 POW 15 weapon. So a lot of different options for your melee pleasure on the head, or if you want the stun gun, which is a spray. All right, on to the animi. The back plate is the other hard point on this model, and that also is what grants the animi. So if you take the bony spine, it gives you unstoppable, and then it provides you the primal animus. Now, for those unaware, the primal animus was something that was sort of a staple animi in Circle of Orboros, and to have it here is not overly surprising, but does show the tie-in that this faction has playstyle-wise to the faction of old. So we have a target. This animi gives target-friendly living Warbeast gains +2 mat and +2 to its melee attack damage rolls for 1 round, and it's going to automatically frenzy during its next control phase. The target Warbeast frenzies even if Primal was removed by a spell, special rule, or casting of a new animi on it prior to its control phase. So you can't cheat this, sadly. If you put Primal on a model, that model is going to frenzy the following turn, regardless of what happens, unless that model is dead. Alternately, we can give it a main. The main grants hyper aggressive and provides the massacre animi. And massacre grants the model overtake. All right. Still not done. We've got so many more options here. We have a back option for Quills. Quills gives Spiny Growth. Spiny Growth, also a animi that was accessible in good old Circle of Orboros, still is. The spellcaster gains +2 armor if a non-warrior model hits the spellcaster with a melee attack. The attacking model suffers D3 damage points immediately after the attack is resolved, unless the spellcaster was damaged or removed from play, or was destroyed or removed from play by the attack. Spiny Growth lasts for 1 round. Additionally, this ups the armor of the model base by 1. So it gives you a stat adjustment. Finally, we have the option for on the back, which is Wings. Wings grants flight. Additionally, it gives you access to the Rush Animi. This is an animi that was not in Circle Orbos originally, but was in Scorn. Target friendly faction Warbeast gains +2 speed and gains Pathfinder. Rush lasts for 1 round. Having access to Rush is amazing. It really extends the threat of a Warbeast. And then when you think about the fact that Lissyra is also granting a +2 additional speed on the charge, these things can go from speed 6 up to speed 8 with Rush, up to speed 10 with Bait the Line. So you're charging 13, potentially threading up to 15 inches away on the charge. Like this is going to be an incredibly fast and hard-hitting faction. Additionally, when you combo this with Refuge, not only are you going in and charging a long way, but then you're going to go ahead and advance after you've hit 8 inches back. And being able to yo-yo in this manner is really reminiscent of the things that you used to be able to do with Circle in a real hit and run um, faction ability. And having access to that, again, is really cool. It's really a playstyle that I personally enjoy. I'm very excited for this faction. I look forward to seeing what options Lissyra is going to be able to take on the rack. But the fact that this faction has access to kind of 3 amazing animi and 1 okay animi, just in this one Warbeast with the Feral. With Rush, you've got Spiny Growth, which just solves a lot of problems for the Feral itself in terms of its armor, making it a bit more tanky, also making casters a bit more tanky, which is really where that animi comes into its own. And then Primal being able to turn these things into mass missiles really lets you do some fun things. And then when you look at how cost effective these animi are, I mean, for me, I want access to a primal beast and I want access to a rush beast pretty much all the time. Spiny growth is matchup dependent. And when I think about it, I think Lissyra is going to be very feral heavy with um, one or two primevals baked in for fun, but she really wants to be throwing dogs at the world and letting them run back to her. Uh, yeah, I cannot wait to play Old Umbrey. This is the kind of fun that that you can have with a new faction. I feel the identity just sort of oozing from these models of what Umbrey is. And if I look at it, I see very much that it is going to be a faction that has a lot of dirty tricks that it can pull. It is going to be very Warbeast reliant. Um, it is going to allow you to express yourself through the Warbeast quite a bit. The Primeval having a lot of different configurations, the Ferals having a lot of different configurations, all of which I think have some moderate viability in a lot of different lists. I look forward to seeing what the rest of these mechanics are and how they work. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this rack is because I think it helps unlock exactly how devastating Geomancy can be. Again, 1 or 2 control spells, Geomancy gets out of hand really quick. And even with what we've been shown here, there's some things that we can do that are just going to be nasty in the best possible way. So I hope you're as excited for Old Umbrey as I am. I really think you're going to enjoy it, and we'll see you on the flip side.